So, Namo Manjo Shri Ye, Nama Su Shri Ye, Nama Dama Shri Ye Soha, Namo Manjo Shri Ye, Nama Su Shri Ye, Nama Dama Shri Ye Soha, Namo Manjo Shri Ye, Nama Su Shri Ye, Nama Dama Shri Ye Soha.
Sanje Jedo Soji Dono La Janju Kodo Dani Janju Dagi Chi Ye Jibe Sona Jinjo La Penche Sanje Duba Shu Sanje Chedo Soji Jona Janjo Bado Dani Jazun Je Dagi Chi Ye Jibe Sona Jinjo La Penche Sanje Duba Shu Sanje Chedo Soji Jona Yanjo Bado Dali Jazon Ji Dagi Chi Ye Jibe Sona Jinjo La Penche Sanje Duba Shu Sanje Penche Sanje Medu Dada Li Shu Ninja Jebando Sanje Kinjo Mekete Jogi Nanda Shila Jeba Shu Roma Mandala Kami Dagi 다담보 동아진나 신경 대다 타 지다그 신데 만나시 거든지 뭐 샤다 마마제 버티자면 마셰바라 당지 마제바 딩지지 만드나 대원데 자랑도 고로 지금 등에 바힌 요원에 대가 끼지자면 딩지지 만드나 대지 피순서 받아 되는 점만 제가 뒤지 제가 다고서 대다시니 말라말라 신주로도 또 참바지 뭐예요.
All sentient beings have been our mothers, and all sentient beings have been our mothers for numberless times. They are as kind as the mothers of this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want suffering, due to not knowing the object of abandonment and adoptions properly, they create only the karma that bring forth the result of suffering. In our mind, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings that how nice if all kind mother sentient beings had happiness. May all sentient beings have happiness. I will cause all sentient beings to have happiness.
이제서 동아진나 신경 대다 타 지지 고 성지 문티비 초 타다다 자나 점마로 Rawa Chichi, Trava Dagisha, Tidashini Balamala, Shinjila, Simplus Ninja.
Next, we cultivate compassions toward all suffering mother sentient beings. That how nice if all suffering mother sentient beings be freed of all sufferings. May all suffering sentient beings be free of all sufferings. Be free of How nice if all mother sentient beings be free of the kasa. How nice if all suffering mother sentient beings, three doors, were free of all adversities. May all suffering mother sentient beings, three doors, be free of all adversities. I will cause all mother sentient beings, three doors, to be free of all adversities. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
Ages of Dumajina, Sinjita, Pong, Kodan, so good Dumali doing against the Pungus and again Nerana project that in Negas, Yanta was of the Sanji Kumbaran giving Nibame, that Nibalisila is in the Yanta was of the Sanjila Yabi, they sent a Tanji to the Sanji Kumbaran, which Jenny Jataba shall be changed same.
Next, we cultivate bodhicitta towards all suffering mother sentient beings. First, we ask ourselves who should take the responsibility to free all suffering mother sentient beings from the sufferings of three lower realms and of whole samsara. I should take the responsibility to free all suffering mother sentient beings from the sufferings of whole samsara and of three lower realms. But I do not have the ability to do so. Only those who have achieved the state of enlightenment have the ability to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha.
Dungajina singi de tangi yanda sanji ji kompa taba shao nyami ni memba shanji ji sen kunzo batini rangi ni ga dai chingo yonso zabi namba chinti sauta da de dindo pe tangi rangi ji madu be tomba ni da rangi sen rochi do ji be tendang be shanji ji sen de rangi ni ga dai chingo de doji kabu ge sen ga bi namba chi be de ji sakta ni da tangi nanju ge senji yes.
Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind. The conventional aspiring bodhicitta thinking, I will achieve the state of enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. It transforms into a perfect mundist at our heart. Next, the ultimate bodhicitta, which is one's mind becoming in one taste with the emptiness, that all phenomena are lacking of inherent existence. It transforms into a wide five-pronged vajra on top of the mundis.
Adi jise da pumbo da rangji ji da tade kanda ya ma dubi rangji ji dubi tongwa yin sa tongban ji kena chu san dangjes.
Next, we meditate on emptiness, that I do not exist intrinsically one with nor intrinsically different from the aggregates. Thus, I do not exist intrinsically.
Adi jise nga su kena tuyo si. Singe tangi de sanji chi kumpa de che da kyanjo langji rin bi fi nyane tsugi de jine de singe la tenpa dubi yin sa kuna de chi kushus.
Set motivation. For the sake of all sentient beings, I want to become Buddha. For this purpose, I'm going to receive the teaching on Lamrim and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
Wo ya tengi yo atu jise.
Thank you.
Da nga su kena che nianpa la nianxi nie de songa nianpa da xeba ka singko la xiangji langri tibi ka la nianxi nie de songa la tini de nga kanda nga chebung gwe le la so ba.
Gonda kisla de surana gonda yangya surana.
다 니신네도 송화생 가서 치 네번네도 송화지 치 시번네도 송화지 kasi ngazo changju langjerin bi ngolma tisarwa narin dimbo ngolma tisare ne chiwa ni da dimbe chira nehi chita chawasi de kasi hisarwa da ngazo chi 네번네도 송화지 고ore chi 신기기 시번에 네도 송화지 고ore 다 네번네도 송스나 다 kasi ndе시 mambo hisare 간다 ngachi 니지 쮸송 빠이토네 네바다 진진디 시 두팀베토네 인디니지 네바이나 다 덴디 네비 게자 델라케네 데페 추문게 레라서바 데다 사심바 참마 다바다 사진바 토체바 더 모음바나 사반조와 도바 인디기베 핀 니발랍 쳔보지 요레서 거래
초봉길에 다바타.
어 추문게 사심바 추문게 레라서바 데디 사심바 참마 다바다 사진바 토체바 더 모음바나 사반조와 도바 까바 도바 딘디기베 니시니도 송아 딘디지 송바이나 니바 니르 송아 시바 니르 송아 딘디지 중바이나 네 간다 평랍 첨부 쇼지레스 다 가싱 가서 고르면 시사로와 다 전소시 치도 추지 시와이로와.
So, as a reminder that previously we talked about the proper way to listen to the teachings and the proper way to explain the teachings. So this we already covered in previous classes. So if we able to listen to a teachings in a proper manner, that with the considerations of with the considerations of abandoning, sorry, with the conducive conditions of generating six perceptions, and with the conditions of abandoning the three faults of vessel, then if we listen to teachings and explain the teachings in this manner, then we will receive the great benefits that whatever negativities that we have accumulated in the past, it will be purified, and whatever negativities that we accumulate, it will be purified, and whatever negativities that we are going to engage in, it will be stopped. So one will receive such great benefits. So this is the reminder for all of us that whatever that we have learned before.
lo sabal nga zo lang li ya jin jang go zu ya de sabar ro wa da lo sabal go stu wa sun za ni kan da chang ju lang jirin ba de gi dan dan da wo chi ngu ma ni ma bu shi sa re da nga so tri ya de chang ju lang ri se lo ro wa chang ju lang jirin ba da chang ju se ngu ma shi sa re chang ju se wa da nga so to ja ta do ba da nga so to ja ta do ba chang ju se wa de ri se chang se wa de pang ba ta do ba ngo ni ko 추세와 되게 간다 또바 타도가 이시 주고스 아마서 토자 타도가 원이고다 이시 주군이로와 원이고다 이시 주군이 오다 장주세와 되 담보디시로와 장주세와 된 가서 다 장세와 다 같이 주나 안되와 뭐 시사리 가서 니무비 디발레 파 장사와 도사와 장세와 pompa 타도가 들어와 주세와 또바 타도가 이시 주고 원이거든 이시 주군이래 맞아 토자 타도가 장주에서 담보데 다 망보 시설이야 전세 치리마 드링아서 장주 로사발라 마 랑링고 주요로와 랑링망고 수디 데 전세 치리 지혀요로와.
Yep. So since this is the first class of this year, so just as a reminder, just as a reminder that I would like to explain about the topic of the text, which is Jamchuk Lamrim. So Jamchuk Lamrim. So Jang means purification, and Chup is accomplishment. So Jamchuk is the ultimate or the ultimate object of accomplishment. So if we break down the Tibetan words Jiangchu into two, so Jiang is the um, ultimate abandonment. So the ultimate abandonment is the achievement of. So the ultimate abandonment is the nature truth body, and Chu is the ultimate realization. So the ultimate realizations is the wisdom truth body.
다 된게 순간 가서 배다 포고야 돼 가르스는 가서 배다 이 꾸인도 배 가서 누가 냐네 지네 토야 돼 또 가르스나 다 장주에서 들어와 토자 타도 봐 장주에 니 토야 치다 가서 다 고선지 냐네 간디 퇴사 고선 냐네 간디지만 니 토야 치 들어와 다 랑리스와 돼 장주 랑리 슬로운도와 다 랑리스와 돼 가서 토자 타도 봐 장주에 토지 타라 줘세 들러와 토지 탑다 줘 그러와 장주 랑 토자 타도 봐 장주에 토지지 파 람텔라 다 랑리스로와 다 랑지 림바데 파 디스 파 정바이나 제부스게 랑지 림바데 제부스게 랑지 림바데 수디바이나 지소 파시 투 다 지소 파시 투고데 수디바이나 랑라바숨 다 토시 타도바 수 노도시나 랑라바숨레 랑라바숨 데나로 시자 자와다 가르스나 스린질라바드레 스린질라바라니네 루아 오 당가서 토시 장주데 토시 타도바 데 가르스나 랑리스 와다 랑리데 가서 데 랑라바숨마 파 뉴스야 데 세나 냐시루아.
So Jiangchu means enlightenment, and enlightenment is the ultimate object of accomplishment. So this Jiangchu Lamrim, right? The topic is Jiangchu is enlightenment, and Lamrim is the stages of the path. So Lamrim indicates the method, indicates the course or the way or the path to enlightenment. So Jiangchu Lamrim. So Jiangchu is enlightenment, the ultimate object of accomplishment. And Lamrim indicates the method, the path, and the course to achieve that enlightenment. So if we were to further explain, break down the method, then it becomes the stages of the path of three capable beings. So if you break down, then it becomes the stages of the path of 3 capable beings. So if these 3 capable beings is condensed, if we condense it, then it becomes the 6 perfections. And if we further condense it, then it becomes 3 trainings. And these 3 trainings mainly depends on the main one is the training in morality.
다 가서 돼야 돼서 치리시여 와 다지다 가서 가시 mambushizare 가서 장주랑 지는 바 자이서지 신앙으로서 디나더니 우마다 mambushizare 다 드린데 양자 쉬고미로와 장주랑 지는 비 가서 ஞான이 제단에 다 간다 장주랑 지는 비 ஞான이 징게는 가서 센터와 자지다 장주랑 지는 바 ஞான이 지나다 장주랑 지는 바 ஞான이 제가 고치고요 말 다디 고자원 지금 많다비나 세 신민년도 된다는 바죠 그거는 많다라 로아 만탈을 든지 구월에 당가서 친데가 랑기 체도 대 냐네 제바이나 다디 가서 고치고 말다 와 다디 양세 마무시서와
Yeah, so if we practice the stages of the path to enlightenment for this purpose, for the sake of this purpose, it doesn't serve the purpose of practicing it. So if we want to, if we study, if we practice the stages of the path to enlightenment, just for this, just for the sake of this life, it doesn't serve the purpose. So at least we must practice for the sake of future lives.
다들이 대화진이 당가서 함대디 말레레 님바 kunjum 코인 줄이 상바라 송세 다 너무 집에서 대레슨 주고는 저주치다 송세로와 어 대갈레로와 가서 참들와 다 대마치 가싱을 담보지 라요 다대 양자마치 라요로와
Yeah. So to continue where we stopped last time, so is mental afflictions, contemplating the stages of involvement in cyclic existence, the origins. This has 3 points: how the mental afflictions arise, how karma is thereby accumulated, and how you die, transmigrate, and take rebirth. So I covered some last year, so I would like to go again.
다 담보 가서 사지 손으로 담보 내무지 수어서 디마 사지 담보도 쉬어니로와 다 사지 담보 가서 나지 치르서 마 로요 말와 다 뜻이 나고요 말와 다 대사지 데 담보는 마 내무지 수어서 디나로 마 된다 도도 마 쉬어로와 다 간다 내무지 수데 간다 가서 디 된다 데 쉬고도 코아 루비죠 다 레다 내무 바니 간다 코아라 마 지에 주데 레다 내무 바니 레스로와 레다 내무니 다 간다 레다 녀무니 다 간다 조데 녀무디 차고는 가서로와 녀무디 차고 코알만 거시 주 자와的녀무 차고 다 녀무 대왕은 가서 레상 그래스고와 레상 그래스고 담보디치
So the first one is how the mental afflictions arise. So it talks about the causes, one entering cycle existence. So there are 2 causes. One is karma, another one is mental afflictions. So karma and afflictions are the causes for one to enter into samsara, that established cycle existence. And between these 2, karma and mental afflictions, the mental afflictions are primary. So due to having these afflictions, one accumulates karma.
이디 송우다 간다 다 고알도 비지르 녀무 소레 녀무 메나 나사 빌레 당레 게바 요르데이나 렌다 살라사바 메비 사벤지 누고 문두와 나시레세 다디 페샤우 도와와 페샤우도 만조 사벤데 베 사벤 캄보지 다 간다 사 캄보지나 말루샤나 데코 가티샤나 코니 우치 두고 마레스와 다진 최다 리드스 참만 트브레스와 데 만트나 에치 두고 마레스고와 와 데나시 딱 가서베 레트스 페나 다트 소월 말레브리치나 레 다충 버스라 레 타네 데바여디 레 데라 진신게 세바다 렘바시바도 소메타리 데간다 메예마 지와시마 다 지와 펜실라 만도투고 마리스 지와 펜투고 마리스 그러와 와다데 젤 말레브르타 담보 디스키로와 마소 데 된다 시고다 레라 렌투스게 메비도 동아지 누구 누구 말이스 누가지 누구 말이스 어디식도와
So as it says here, if there are no mental afflictions, so even though the karma there are numberless karma, then since the cooperative conditions for karma are absent, then just like the the sprout of sufferings is not established. So then give an example is like a sprout that if you put a seed on a dry land, then since the cooperative conditions are absent, that this seed cannot give rise to a sprout. So use this example to explain that even though you have if you do not have mental afflictions, then even though you have karma accumulated before, but since the cooperative conditions are absent, therefore it cannot this seed cannot give rise to the sprout of suffering. So then later we will talk about even the arhat as well. Even though they have accumulated numberless karma before, but since their cooperative conditions for the seed to give rise to the sprouts are absent, therefore they will not. Uh, these seeds cannot produce another samsaric rebirth.
다 같이 너무 여봐이나 때 랭아 사바 메나 하세요 그러와 다 너무 여봐지 다 간다 레 메메게마 다 로아 리두고 솔마 지와 페이지 레 마사바이나 너무 여차 신지라 때 데마다 레사도 너무 대왕게 때 레사도 사바 여레스 레사도 손에 때 심마만 연로라마 제노야게 때 용구 여레스 그러와 너무 여신지라 간다 레 메메게마 연로라 지와 페이지 레 메나 야 너무 대왕게 레사도 사노 그래서 그러와 대왕게 다 너무 대형화도 누구와 너무 대왕게
And if mental afflictions are present, then even though one do not accumulate any karma previously, the karma is immediately accumulated anew. So one is ready to accumulate karma anew, and then one will take a samsaric rebirth. So because if the mental afflictions exist, then one will fall under the control of the mental afflictions, then one will accumulate karma anew, then one will take rebirth in samsara again.
being also the number namdegi lungde tangudwa kanda jerum buchirwa CBC le nangai legin peni mai de lenchi shiba seshiro wasne ta kanda digi jadin de tanguyore de kare kandi tangu desna kanda de CBC patang ro CBC pa le pa pan change ta CBC pa le namba gangi de surisna da chomba da chomba so kanda CP nyum ba so pansarwa nyum ba so pansarwa o CPC le namba ga da chombe jula yobi da le mambo yor da chombe jula le mambo yor rwa le mambo yor de ina ata da chomba ge kanda nyumu de pansa sunza da le de ge kombo hin pe nugu mari pe tugu mari es da kanda ro so ma jiwa pe tugu mari es de pe ma tu ge jinse karesna korala dendi letla lenchi shinti chin nyamu sepa de lemba di yo mari esgo sepa de lemba de so mewa sonza da chumba la ka jula kanda le yo ba ina de mege mang ndo so ma dendi pije ji lete yo ma pe le mo ke dendi chiwa lenge di yo mari chiwa lamba di yo mari esgo ro dendi le sa ba di yo mari pemba yo mari es de maybe junse de kalsna letla lenchi sheje sepa de lemba de so yo mari de da chumba pansa re esgo.
And Jeremy quoted a commentary on Compendium of Valid Cognition to support this point. For those who have passed beyond craving for existences, karma cannot impel any more rebirths because the cooperating factors have been exhausted. So those who have passed beyond craving for existences, it refers to arhat. So they have already abandoned the afflictions. So even though they have many karma, they have accumulated many karma before, but those karma cannot impel any more samsaric rebirths. Yeah, so cannot impel any more samsaric rebirths or cannot project any more samsaric rebirths. The reason is the conditions or the cooperative conditions of those karma, which is clinging and craving. So the arhat has already abandoned them. Therefore, since the cooperative conditions are absent, even though they have many karma, those karma cannot project any more samsaric rebirths.
Odi kanda yona laya Junguri and Jun Shiro said that only the song do a that kind of did another step at the lamp to Yovaina. That step at the lamp to Rangu Jula Yona. They can that the Yona, that Nilage Pumbo, Yan Pinjili, Laya, Junguri, Nilage Pumoroa, Pinji, the Laya, at the Nile Sabati Junguri, Escorua. But that Dutch once you say about the lamp to Pansar, Yamu Pansarua. Nyamu pansawa sunza ta la ya pe jula pe se pa da lemba de su yunga ke yo mare chia yo mare.
And he continues, he says, and for if craving is present, they will recur. So if clinging and craving exist, then they will recur, means that they will impel the samsaric rebirth. And since our heart has already abandoned afflictions that includes craving and clinging, and in their mind stream there is no craving and clinging anymore. Therefore, they will not. The karma will not impel any more samsaric rebirth.
Ta jinse de la tine kanda ngazo ta nyumwa danji mari bati zawa chine kanda ta ngazo de wang ge de lesa le de wang ge mijen khwa la jiwa ta nyawa yida tindu de ma jiwa ngimba ni chi langwa sonza ta de la ma gu ya gi ngazo de nyemu bi nyembo tembo res nyemu da de sala nyembo temba de ke chembo res de songo do ta nyemu la nyembo temba la nyembo te sa ge nyemu te xebala rale res nyemu de xengu res ro nyemu de xebala rale ba rale ba le nyemu na la keba sha wo se ta keba sha wo se wa ta nyemu bala nyembo tembala nyemu de ngwe simba ji xengu res ro de ma xeba de la nyembo ten xia yo ma res ro nga zo pe na control da bo ji na control yin ba ko ngo xeba ji control de la nyembo kar ten gu do ta shamba da se wala so ba ten di nyembo dan de cha ji yin ba de cha de nyembo kar ten gu do 다 모두가 공부하라서 봐. 다 따와 바방구나. 다 동반지 편에서 가고로 와. 뭐 된지 소사 다 너무 소소소소 봐. 무슨 바지 무엇이 바지 무엇이는 되들라 카티드 잡아이나 되래라 보자. 내라 보지 와. 다 뭐자와리네 마시 봐. 나서 단도 보지나 다데 담보 뭐 마시 봐 콜라면다 슈 면다 슈하던 살아서 봐 슈도 말와. 이 슈나 빈도요 말와. 뭐 마시나 뭐다 대가 나시 무슨 거래서 너무 date mwe sungure mwe masna kola nibo tia kyo mare kola nibo nyeba de ngure guya jinse de da nibo matina nyumu tia ngazo jiwa nyemba la ma tin go ro o tin go re da de nibo temba la ke chembo re ese e de songo ro.
So as it says here, therefore it's crucial that you rely on the antidotes to the mental afflictions, and that depends on knowing the mental afflictions, which is why you should become conversant or learned in them. So is these afflictions that is rooted in ignorance, or you can say that the root of the afflictions are ignorance, and these if we fall under the control of afflictions, then one will accumulate karma, and due to these accumulations of karma, it will propel a samsara rebirth, and during that samsara rebirth, one experience suffering. So it is very important to apply antidotes to afflictions. So in order to apply antidotes to afflictions, one must first recognize or know about afflictions. If we do not know anything about afflictions, then how could one apply antidotes to afflictions? For example, anger. So if we want to apply antidotes to anger, then we must know what anger is, right? Or the nature of the anger. What is it? So having recognized the nature, or having recognized what is um, anger, then then it will be easy for us to apply antidotes to remove the anger. So likewise to attachment, then in order to apply apply antidotes to attachment, then we also have to know what is attachment. Then we apply the antidotes, such as meditating on ugliness, then to eliminate the uh, the attachment. So just like so, for example, if we want to eliminate an enemy, then we must recognize the enemy, right? If we do not recognize the enemy, then there is no way for us to apply the antidotes or to shoot at the target.
So wala sachi indil dil maliguda indila sonse nyamu chi tsula sonse ta nyamu nge son chi da chi bi rimba nyamu bi nimi da sondwa sachi sondwa ta sachi sonda tambo nyamu nge son ase ta ngaso nyamu ma nge son de ma shue yirwa.
So this has 3 points: the actual identifications of the mental afflictions, the stages by which they arise, and the faults of the mental afflictions. So first, I'm going to talk about the actual identifications of the mental afflictions.
Ta ngaso nyamu nge son de la kanda nyamu ba chi nge son ta chi da so so nge son ta chi da nga tambo ngaso chirang ni yirwa ta ngaso de katulang rimbo nalo nyamu chi na nge son ta din katu chi sebo son ya mar de ina ta tenda de deliver nyamu chi nge son da so sing nge son ase ta tambo ngaso nyamu chirang nyamu de nge son ta chi shue yirwa.
Yeah, so the actual identification of the mental afflictions can be divided into two. One is the general identifications of the mental afflictions, and specific identifications of the mental afflictions. So in Middle Lang Lamrim, the general identifications of the mental afflictions is not clearly indicated. However, the meaning is indicated. So I would like to talk about first the general identifications of the mental afflictions.
Tā tīrā ngā sō nyamu chētā bātā sō pē sō sō kī ngō tā pē yābu chē tā nā tā tīrā ngā sō nyamu chē yī nyamu tā tāndā tā xēn wā rwa, xēn wā rwa yī nā tā ngā sō tīrā nyamu chē kī tsēni tīrā sāma tāngwa tī yī ngā sō mbā mā tā tā mā tī kō tī yā kē tō kuñdī lā tī sōng chā kō tō wā kuñdī lā kāntā tī kāñchī wā nā rā tō mā shī yī tsēni tō tī tē shōng yī sēng kī jī rā tō mā shī wā nī wā tī nyamu kī tsēni sē kuñdī lā sōng chā yā rwa tā kāntā nyamu chē kī tsēni tī kāntā sēng kī rā tō mā shī wā 생지라도 마셔 시비 다 실리지 생주 들리지라 로와 생지라도 마셔 아 시비 다 간다 실리지 라도 마셔 실리지 생주 들리지라 다 간다 내용 예 단단한 것이 로와 예무서도 들리지 소소 상황 가야지
그래서 기실랑이 심지 소유 공조 파된가
월이 다다리
라소 Yeah, you can see. So the general identifications of the mental afflictions, or the general, like the meaning of afflictions. So if you know about afflictions in, if you know about the individual afflictions that we're going to study, then you already know what affliction is. So before we talk about the specific mental afflictions, so I would like to talk about the general, or like introductions, the meaning of mental afflictions. So what is the meaning of mental afflictions, or the general nature of afflictions? So it is a mental that functions to disturb the mind stream of the person in whose continuum it is present. So this is the meaning of afflictions. It's something that the meaning that we can think about when we come across the word afflictions.
간다 생지 뉴무스와다 간다 가도 생지로도 마시와 지와 라도 마시와 지와다 간다 인도네시 간다 자동서 지오디 와도 세 손로고 저와 세라도 마시와지 들리로도와 자동서 지오디 간다 세 손로고 저자다 세 마데와 이 마데와 마치바 로와 마치바 들리 차오리 해서 간다 세라도 마시와세와 들어와 세라도 마시와세와 다 간다 세 마데와 마치바 이 마데와 드스마다 된다라고 이발레고 들어와 오 들리 자도서 지오디 들리 차면도 세 손로고 저러디 그 생지라도 마시와 라도 마시와 차는 거야.
So what does it mean by disturbs or thoroughly disturbs? So when afflictions such as attachment or anger arise, then it causes our mind to become unclear. It causes our mind to become unclear. So what it means is our mind becomes unhappy, then one experiences the mental unhappiness.
생지로도 마시와스나 세 손로고 저와 디지와 생랑로 본주나 다 생라도 마시와 참고 그래서와 다들 용으로 생랑로 보 차오디 뜻도 마치바다 마디와 된지 차고로와 다 생시와니 바다 간주고서나 다 간다랑 생 바트고 혈레 진이 간다 미신다게 시주보라서 라서 간디 러바이나 소소게 대원도 델라파 제바 제세마도 델라파 레 콘로 파치 주보 말아바지 소소게 생다 바 다보제트네 별 혈레 바트고 생 혈레 바트고 생 템보 생 가바이나 마주바 오 덴디지페 생 템보 니부갈라타 생 나마 생 나바 나도 님바 생 휴아시 드리로와 생 나도 님바 생 휴아시 드리에서로와 생라도 마시와다 휴아니기 제바 생라도 마시와다 이도 휴자임바 다세 휴아시와다 다생 나도 님바 생 나도 님바스는 생 템보 앞에나 덴디 차소 뇽망도 배 가와이나 나서 주초초 많이 봐. 생 파트 보셔 해래 소소기니 어디 니 장을
Yeah, so when afflictions arise, then it thoroughly disturbs the mind. So it thoroughly disturbs the mind, then it causes the mind to become unclear. So compared to a peaceful mind or a calm mind, so for example, if we generate patience towards someone who spoke harsh words towards us, then if we do not generate angers and say harsh words back to the person, and instead we generate anger towards the person, then our mind remain in its authentic conditions. Remain in these authentic conditions means that the mind remains calm and remain relaxed. Then that is the peaceful of the mind. So that our mind remain peaceful. So that is what it means by the mind remain in its authentic conditions. So the mind becomes very stable, very calm.
아또 생라도 마시와 시와 딜라 라도 마시와 딜라 다 간다 마시와 두왕게 간다로와 생테 간다로와 딜마 된다나 두마라도 마시와 스티그마 난다나 보다마 두 등지 쉐이로와 데 가르스나 생라도 마시와 용단다 보다 근데 넘바 인 세라도 마시와 다 생데 나이와도 손이 뜻세 라도 마시와 아세 로 담보티 나이와도 손이 뜻세 라도 마시와 세 마지바 마데와 사지 로와
And these mental and these disturbances, because just now we say that afflictions thoroughly disturbs the mind, right? And this disturbance, there are 6 types of disturbances, or you can say that there are 6 ways for this disturbance to arise. So the first one is disturbance due to distraction. So due to distractions, then it causes the disturbance.
다니바데 간다 스테시지로게 라도 마시와세 간다 다 차소 님몰어서 봐 된디기로와 유신지로도 앞에 여기 닌스데 좀 많이 봐배 옆에 신지로도 된디기 따위 왕게 뜻세 마시와 답변은 맞서배 가두지 셰바이나 민다버지 미신다지라배 자지 전부 즈마께차 왕보 쉬비 셰바이나 된다 타툴라페 소소 계셔 간가데 즈마 진자레 데미 된다라 뎀바 메와 손자 데 소소 지보 용고 말에 간사지라 미속에 지마 이바 하고디 데 소소 지보 용고 말와 대보 용고 말 빼샤바이나 된다버지로와 신 신지로도 지보 왕게다 난도다 나야왕도 된디기 신 신지로도 진이 데세 마쇼 오 된디치 신지로라도 마쇼와세.
And the second one is disturbance due to distortion. So disturbance due to distortion, the example is like if a person who always tell lies, so then and others know that, or this person always tell lie and do not believe the person because they know that whatever the person says is just lie. So having known about the persons the liars, so the liars then experience the disturbance due to distortion, because others already know that whatever the liar says is all about lies.
Somebody gipirato mashuasirwa. Tarato mashua gubasada naji shine guada gomjiala to sope things it's on number shabikala gubasada pachi so chadwide. Rwa shimada gubasiwa. That guba de canon de chagi chas kunstobachi and de chag kunstobachi. sen rang mi ba la ba tembo ne be kala ya sen shiro go la pa tonwa dendi toni pa do ta ni de yi dong mo la pa yi dong wa dendi ge do ta ni ge dendi sen shiro la pa toni ge dendi ji le wo de kan da sen ra do ma shwa cha lu re sa wa ma shwa
And disturbance due to excitement. So when we talk about the cultivations of concentrations and meditation, cultivations of calm abiding, then we talk about two main obstacles. One is laxity, another one is excitement. So this is one of it, disturbance due to excitement. So, and this excitement belongs to the category of attachment. So, and due to this excitement, then one labels an unattractive things as attractive, and then our mind scatters towards that object. So that is excitement.
da ti je la kan da mu pi ra do ma shwa ti le do ro da mu pa se wa da kan da di gi cha to ba re tu mu gi cha to ba do nga zo mu pa se wa tu mu te mu pi de wang da kan da se ma shwa ro de pe li sin les mo ru wa se da kan da li da sin les mo ru wa da nyu mu ba ya pe ak ni ji cha go re mu pa se wa de wang ge de kan da se ma ji wa ma de wa cha ro wa o mu pi ra do ma shwa
And next one is disturbance due to lethargy. So, and it belongs to the category of ignorance. So the lethargy functions to cause our body and our mind to become unserviceable. So it functions to cause our mind and our body to become unserviceable. And because of this unserviceability, then one experience the mental unhappiness.
다 대지의 밤에 비라도 마셔서라. 다 밤에 와 간다시 라도 마셔.
The next one is disturbance due to non-conscientiousness.
다 두바데 엔셈바 미비라도 마셔와서네. 당어서 지나 내가 샤와 마rum바 제 마rum아서 반셈바서 디서 가서 엔셈바 들어와. 다 단단 셈바 메바서다 엔셈 메바 센치 세바라 신체라 메바 시와라 엔셈 메바 엔셈 메바 된지기 전에 다 간다 메바 지바 대왕 그 셈마 시와다 마디와 차그로 와 어디래로 엔셈바 메비라도 마셔와시.
And the next one is disturbance due to non-refraining. So we should generate a restrained mind towards improper objects, such as harming sentient beings and harming sentient beings, etc. So we should refrain from having such wish to harm them. So here, disturbance due to non-refraining, that means we do not have the intention to refrain from doing improper actions, such as cultivating the mind wishing to harm other sentient beings.
오다딩 와서다 녀무치기 신이도 디디치체 대 가서 생라도 마시와 세와데 다 된다도 두치로와 생라도 마시와 세와데 다 참마시 간디지 렌도상 디지 하고 바시로와 세 마시와 징게다 다 간다 소소 상당다 그 돈네 대 생라도 마시와 차르고도와 다 상로 야보시 땅바이나 대세 나도네 바세 시와 차르고도와
Yeah, so this is the brief introductions about afflictions. So yeah, about mental afflictions or about afflictions. So if it functions to thoroughly disturb our mind stream, right? So and then it causes our mind to become unpeaceful. So by knowing about afflictions and remove it, then one will experience the mental peacefulness.
peaceful mind. 다 되냐면 찌르때 디디 쇼바타와 지로와 다 제리 양장 가서 생주 생각할 리그로와 제리 생주 되도와 다 디올라 가서 디 소소 니무 소소 그때나데 다 따와가다 따밍하다 마셔야래 니무 소소 니에서 들어와 니무 찌니에서 디치바치 다 소소 니에서 따와가다 따밍하시 데 마셔요와 다 당문 되셔드린도와.
So this is the brief introductions about mental afflictions, and when we come to the Tuesday class, mind and mental factors, then we will study them in detail. So now we come back to Lamrim, actual identifications of the mental afflictions. This has 10 points. So it is about the 5 view and 5 non-view. So the first one is desire or attachment.
다디 송군단 되차데 당본 되차들와 다다밍아노 당본 되차들와 단 되차데 간다 신앙기 예두바 이동와라 미네다 간다 델라 예스 차바나 페나가 간다 레라 누슈바 유카와 나신 레라 누 게자데 간다 답에 야부지 마트바이나 레라부 타고 말와 예나시 대장기 미발 하자 힌지 제반 미바데다 ndakawa 되차 사와데 레라 누슈바 나시 스 뉴알레 레라보 파토기나 디스칼레 카보 란사 도마도바 원디리 제세고 로아 레라 님 추슈데 레카라 님 디질루바 란사파 니 레파 티노로와 레파 란사 티라보나시 파 메바스 투기나 다 서로다 망보지 마지나 레라부 투두고 마로와.
Yeah, so these 10 points, 5 are views and 5 are non-views. So the first one of non-view is attachment, or here it says desire. So, the example here is just like oil that has penetrated onto cloth is hard to remove, and it is difficult to separate attachment or desire from its object as it clings to it and intensifies. So this attachment is like the oil cloth. So a piece of cloth, and if you put oil onto it, then it will absorb immediately, right? So it absorbs very fast. However, if you want to remove the oil stain, the oil from the cloth, then you have to put a lot of detergents and put a lot of soap to wash it, and in order to remove it, right? So it can it arise. Sorry, it arise easily, yet it is very difficult to remove.
그다음서 데 단도 페 데다 단다 데 시보레 레라 누슈바 레라 누슈바라 도 로아 딘디 도 nge바 마투르 땅와 다 레kambola 도 nge바이나 데니 마투르 땅야 짜마서라 체바 쳔보요로와 데 칼레 시보요로와 레 칠라페 누망부 슈네 데라 레 누슈조 데라 도 nge바이나 다 데마 투투 가자탄 레라보 투투 가자탄나 데테 사마 차투고 마로와 오데 용카와나시 다 제누 마신요 제 캄보치라 코도 가지 슈바이나 야 투투탄 바이나 사마 소디아 용으로와 소디아 용으로 오 단데 차데 제라 누 슈발라 등게바 데파 용카와나시 제세 다 베지 데시로와.
So another example is a piece of cloth. So if you a piece of oil cloth. So you put oil onto one cloth already, and then if you use it to drag on the ground, then it can attract dust easily, right? So however, if you want to remove it, then it becomes very difficult because it is an oil cloth and it attracts dust. So compared to a piece of dry cloth, even though you also put the same amount of dust onto it, however, it is very easy to shake it off.
이질란데서 대가지 지금 당한서 지나 제르마 따왕아 따밍아데 제버의 생기 셈바갈마 치우디다 생기 셈바는 가서 따왕아 따밍아 창조지 리그로와 다들 미세 뭐가 실내 창조디가 마셔 다들 망아서 뭐 도도 마셔로 이루와.
So this is the brief introductions about attachment or desire. So these 10 points, 5 are views and 5 are non-views. So when come to the Tuesday class, mind and mental factors, then I will introduce them I will introduce their nature and their functions. So here is just a brief introductions about their nature.
다 님바데 컨트롤들과 컨트롤들과 다 컨트롤 생기나다 동아다 세다 세마소기 또 동아지네도 솔라미네 또 나세 너싱바 세주모 세주모다 다 네바시비세 켈라 네바시게세 덴디질라다 간다 컨트롤아스 컨트롤스데레도와.
So anger is a hostile attitude. So it's a harmful intentions that upon observing a basis of suffering, such as sentient beings, sufferings, weapons, thorns, and so forth, then intends to inflict harm on those objects. So that is anger.
다 디지스타 컨트롤 마고시 마고바지 디지스 나지스와데 로아 다 토메다 장엘라 미니 생kem 바로와 토이 넘바지 다 나지스 나지 가서 마고시 자로와 가서 네 나지다 레세다 타도세 에데송비 나지니 슈고요레 타도세와데 장레 게 또바데 윤데 로종 주노 롱치 카리나 랑린 토와딜라 타도 지고레 소 타도 지고 좋아 다 수수도 배 윤디 롱지 냥바들라 레세 지고 레세 로아 수수다 윤디 로종 롱지 간디냐 냥바들라 레세 지바 소원 레세 지바 다 장레 윤디다 로종 가린 토라야 마와들라 나지 지고 답배 로아 다 나지 배 미제 수수라 마와데 나지 지네 다배 수수 배지 통보지 간디네 코란다 배 미게 리기 리자라 춘장난도 상상다시 딩아지 지와 로아.
Yep. So the next one is pride. So pride is a puff up mind. So when we talk about so pride is something that we always talk about. And when we come to pride, then I also talk about jealousy, competitive mind, and pride. So jealousy arise when we compare oneself with jealousy arise when we encounter a person whose quality such as education levels, good qualities, wealth, possessions, level of realization higher than us. So then jealousy arise. So jealousy arise when we encounter a person whose quality is higher than us. And the competitive mind will arise when we meet with those whose quality is equal to us. And pride arise when our quality, like for example, the level of realizations, education level, etc., is higher than others, then we generate the pride.
다 지당 나지를 가서 장가 nga duma tani shwer ta de sinju semba tige kan shwer ni ro ti tanda di shwer mi sti da ngaji la namba ma ra ti mambo yore de zo je nga zo sinju semba la ngaji ta wa ga ta me nge ban ro ro ta nge ban ro di mi ge ko je shi ko ra yore ro ti din man do ani ro.
Yeah. So regarding pride, then there are several divisions of pride as well. So again, this I will discuss in mind mental factors.
다 te wala mari pa se wa ti le go ta ta mi nga mari pa se wa de shi da len de da kun cho go rang yi la lo ma sai ta mi hi bi ni mu chi e se ro mari pa se wa ti.
So ignorance is an afflicted non-knowing, then towards four truths, karma or actions and their effects, and the three jewels.
다 지당 가서 mari pa la pa khatu dashi da bo che ba ina mari pa ma she pa ma thong wa me sa wa se e de ni dashi la de sam pa na ji go pa ko da thya che ro 지당 가서 다 mari pa la wala ma ti je ba le to re nga so sim sim ba kanda rang ge la mo be mari pa da rang ge shin ji lo den je de ke mari pa se da de yin go ro
Rangi yula mongbero.
o mo be rang ge la kanda me she be mari pa da rang ge de shin ji lo den je de ke mari pa 다 드리 레고래 다 지다 마리바라 가서 렌데라 모비 마리바신 다 뜻이 뜻이 만도 이거 좋아 이나 가서 다 지다 가서 마리바다 방에 야부 있음 바지 좋아 녀슨 바지 다 단다 디 거든 가서 라리나로 디에로와 장히라 로 마사이 메시비 녀무 제스 디 샤우도 라리 라 디아라 소도 어디 딩르스 바지 담보로와
That's all. Yeah, so to identify the general meaning of ignorance, so here it says it is an afflicted non-knowing due to a mind, owing to a mind that is unclear with regard to the nature of the four truths, actions and their effects, and the three jewels. So if we were to explain ignorance of, I'll say, etymologically, so that means it's explanations of the word about ignorance, then this ignorance, it can be understood as non-knowing, as it says here, can be understood as non-knowing, and can also understand as non-seeing, can also understand as not clear or unclear. So then again, when we study the mind and mental factors, then we will study in details. So in mind and mental factors that we are going to study about not knowing about its object and regard wrongly or apprehend wrongly its object. So this we will study in mind and mental factors.
Kanza kanza nilu mishibi wangi momba momba de wangi ta le du chandra manda salurwa lenda manda nemu pya kanza nilu de mishi wangi de lenda manda sa da kanza de nilu de shinjilo dan zinike kanza nilu de bes shinjilo da da tuba tuba de wangi da lenda manda salurwa da kanda shin ma shin de nembo de kanza ge dame to bi sharapte 대화는 권하게 마리바 닝가 가디지나 참막 님보 또 내디라래 들어와 이래
조대야 뒷가리를 건다기.
간자게 다음에 또 비셔라 들어와 간자게 다음에 또 비셔라 권하라래 딱 거기 님보 간자게 니루 메시비 마리바 되게 님보 대가래 간자게 다디 신절로 던지니게 마리바 되게 님보데 간자게 다음에 또 비셔라 다가나 단 님보들라 간다 된다 권하니까 같이 장게 님보데 지바시로와.
Yeah. So, for example, due to a confusion of not knowing the mode of existence of person, then one accumulates karma. So, and due to wrong apprehensions of the mode of existence of person, one accumulates karma. So there are two types of accumulations of karma. One accumulates karma due to confusion of not knowing the mode of existence of person. And the second type of accumulations of karma is due to wrong apprehensions of the mode of existence of person. Then one accumulate karma. So in order to apply the antidotes to be applied to these two types of ignorance is to cultivate the wisdom, wisdom realizing the emptiness of person. So even though there are two types of ignorance, however, from the perspective of antidotes, there is only one, which is wisdom realizing the selflessness of person.
안다 간다디 가정와서 나리 카투바 뎀바시다 렌데다 군초고로 일로 마사와시 너무지 레저도와 디 카투 다 된다가서 뎀바시 다 딘시 나지 시고레 동아 뎀바 군주 뎀바 고데 랑지 뎀바 시고레 다 간다 딘시 두고 렌데 군초라 랑지 일로 마사와세 된다데 마서 뎀바시와 다 뎀바시나랑 가서 마무시다레 준디기 템바니 요로와 준디기 템바니 죽군주 데반 데브 동아 저 랑지 데만 데봉고 데세 디 준디 셈바니 요로와 준디 셈바니 오다 죽군주 뎀발라 테네 다 데브 동에 주와 미시바 미시비 마리 바로와 죽군주 뎀발라 테네 데브 동에 주와 미시바 몽바치 다 죽군주 뎀발라 테네 데브 동아 문주와 신지로든 지니게지 근데 마리 바치와 마리 바치 다 내가 나도 디 렌데 대가리 다 담부디 시들어와 대시다.
That's all. So a mind that is unclear with regard to the nature of the four truths. So all of you knows what these four truths are. So the four truths are the truth of suffering, truth of origin, truth of cessation, and truth of the path. And previously, I also talked about the out of these four truths can be divided into two sets of cause and results. So the first set of cause and result is the truth of suffering and truth of origin, and the second set is the truth of cessation and truth of the path. So the truth of origin is the cause, and the truth of suffering is the result, and truth of the path is the cause, and truth of the cessation is the result. So due to the ignorance of not knowing that if there is cause, if there is the origin, then it will bring forth the result of suffering. So this is one type of ignorance, ignorance of not knowing that the result, the cause of the origin, the cause which is the origin, can bring forth its result, suffering.
렌데 대가리 다 렌딩 가서 주기와 사발티는 리브 대wan 좀 미시비 몸바치 주기와 사발티는 리브 대wan 좀 미시비 몸바 주먹이 레사바티는 리브 동인 좀 미시비 몸바 몸비 마리 바로와 다 데니다 미시비 마리 몸 미시비 몸비 마리 바디니 다 신줄로도 샤오디 다 주기와 사발티는 리브 대wan 좀 문중아 인지비 마리 바 로아 신줄로도 인지비 마리 바 주기와 사발티는 리브 대와 중 마리 스티니 마리 바지 다 저 먹이를 해서 받은 제부등아 좀 말해서 든지 신경을 쓰게 말이 맞지. 왔다 몸도 말이 받아 신경을 쓰게 말이 받아. 다 든지 길어 봐서 다 땅되고 도와.
Mm. So regarding cause and effect, then the ignorance of not knowing about cause and effect, for example, a virtuous cause will bring forth the result of happiness. So if the ignorance of not knowing is one do not know about it. So ignorance of not knowing the virtuous cause will bring forth the result of happiness, and ignorance of not knowing a non-virtuous cause will bring forth the result of suffering. So this is one type of ignorance of not knowing. So then the second type of ignorance is ignorance of wrong apprehensions, right? So this second type of the example for this second type of ignorance is uh, wrongly apprehends that a virtuous cause will not bring forth the result of happiness. So it wrongly apprehends that a virtuous cause will not bring forth the result of happiness. So this is the second type of ignorance, ignorance of wrong apprehension. So the first one is the ignorance of non-knowing.
다 된다 뜻이 미시비 몸도 말이 받아 다 든지 지와. 다 든지 군주라 다 자장 지바라 말이와. 든지 자와 지도 지바시. 다 원래 대성들 마셔이와. 다 대성들 뎀바 송나서 버리면 여다메 이나 미냐비 든지 대성 지와.
So same applies to the three jewels regarding the ignorance. So the next one is doubt. So doubt is to observe those three objects as mentioned just now, the four truths, actions and their effects, and the three jewels, and think that whether do they exist or not, are they a certain way or are they not?
다 대성 세월에 늘 자고도 뎀바 송나미네 여다메 넘버지. 다 뎀바 송다 간다 데레와 뎀바다 렌데 군지 뎀바 송세와데 달라 디카도 대송 뎀바 송나미네 여다메 넘버 로이도와.
Mm,
다 뎀바 송세와데 나서 데레 뎀바시다 렌데 군조 대송바 장나 도도시나로와.
mm,
데레
mm. So is to observe those three objects, yeah. So the four truths and so forth. So it links to the points that we mentioned just now. So four truths, action and their effects, and the three jewels.
아데 가서 대통령이 도바 간다 대 소소 마지나 마서 냐네 징게 상산나 배 소소 비티지 두바 냐네 지나 랑사 도바치 마 두바치 랑사 도바치 마들이 야 군주연나 메나 비니 태소 산데 니가 열다 그와 배 시부 소소 비지 나와이나 다 비지 나와이나야 랑사 비나 군주라 소와 시비지도 대 소소 레왕다 상노치는 마당바 아 랑사야 마자바이나 다가 군청을 받지로 받지기 연한 매서 또 파산데 에든지 용어로와 그래서 배 태송스와의 자원이 구해요 말와 근데 군청 배 소소 소왔다 사지라 군청이 소소라 비나 로바 제메지 태송요 말이 이나 다 소소 레원은 제부디 좀기 레두자지 사간 제부지 용어야 다 소소게 샤도 제마도나 용어로와 샤도 제티나데 제투나다 간다 제부디 용어요 말이
Yeah, so we as a Dharma practitioners, sometimes this kind of doubt can be dangerous for us. Can be dangerous for us. Like if we practice Dharma for a long time and yet we do not generate any realizations, then we might have this doubt, questioning whether three jewels exist or not. So there's kind of a danger to generate this kind of doubt. And another occasions could be when we have sickness, when we felt sick, and then we make supplication prayers to three jewels, and yet we do not think anything about a cause and effect. And if we do not recover immediately from the sickness, then again we have this doubt, questioning whether three jewels exist or not. So we have to think about the 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 cause and effect. Like if we have accumulated the cause before it ripens, and if we're able to confess it and confess and purify it, then we will not experience the result. And on the contrary, if we do not do any confession or purification practice to remove the karma accumulated before, then one will definitely experience the result.
Tini kebala nga su tesong gugu ma resi rwa. Ta ju gewa sabal tini drepe dewan junga manjunga me bitari tesong gugu ma. Ta tiso tesong ligu duwa. Ju gewa sabal drepe dewan junga manjunga me tesong gugu ma. Ju gewa sanan drepe dewan junga pa su su pa chen diwa rwa. Ta ju magi lesa nan drepe dewan junga muju tere tesong gugu ma. Ju magi lesa sana drepe dunga jacha jan yungwa rwa. Ta su su ki shadong che matuna yungwa rwa. Ta tiso denpa sa lende. Ta kuncho yoda me nyambi tesong.
So same as we do not need to doubt about the the practice of abandonment and the practice of adoptions in relation to Four Noble Truths. For example, the virtuous cause will bring forth the result of happiness. So it is certain it will happen in this way. So we do not need to have any doubt about it. So likewise, if one has accumulated a non-virtuous cause, then it will 100% bring forth the result of suffering if it is not confessed or not purified. So one should be very determined that it is like this, that the virtuous cause will bring forth the result of happiness, a non-virtuous cause will bring forth the result of suffering. So it is certain in this way. Do not need to have any doubt about it. So same as doubt towards the three jewels, whether three jewels exist or not. This is not the doubt about it is not something that we should have. So next one is the view of the transitory collection. It is an afflicted intelligence that observes the appropriated aggregates and views them as a self or belonging to a self, thinking I or mine. So here, transitory means impermanent and collection means multiple. So this is the explanations of word. So of these terminologies. So transitory and collection. So here, transitory means impermanent and collection means multiple. Like for example, our body is a collection of limbs, etc.
Jinji la mateba taba sewa de yo mare segora pon kandiji na roa jewa den jiba la mateba de taba sin yo mare se ta chashi la mateba jibu de chashi ta chashi kanchi la mateba kanda ta pumbo da kansa kandiji na rang chashi la mateba tuya chu chin yo mare roa chu yo mare wa de kanda chashi la mateba tuwa lo diso ta kanda tenda de reshang taba da jibi kansa yo mare se ta kansa ina kanda roa charangi chashila matiba rangi dashi pumbo la tine kanza se tawirwa dashi pumbo la tine de kanza se tawir mato dashi pumbo kana matiba ti kanza se tawani ne yo marya rwa
So the object it views is a mere impermanent and manifold phenomenon. It is given the name view of the transitory collection to indicate that there is no permanent unitary person. So there is no permanent person, means that there is no person that could that will not go through the process of producing and the process of producing and disintegrating. So there is no person that is how to say that there is no person uh 这个啥 yeah, so permanent means that there is no productions and there is no disintegrations. So there is no such person is permanent that will not go through the productions and disintegration. So because the person is impermanent, and there is no unitary person as well. So unitary means that it doesn't depends on parts. So is unity by itself. It doesn't depend on other parts. There is no unitary persons as well. So how persons exist? Person exists in dependence on the basis of imputations, which is the aggregates, and person cannot exist without depending on the basis of imputations, which is aggregates.
This is Tata Jawarwa. Then Jita Jason was Tata Shua. Then Tata saw the Jiti Khan, Dotilla Minute, Tapa, Tesman Din Shima, and in Sajua maybe Chepatai, Hieronymuchi, and Dishaudua.
So the next one is the view holding to an extreme is an afflicted intelligence that observes the self as it is apprehended by the view of the transitory collection and view it either as permanent or eternal or as being annihilated without being reborn from this existence to a future one.
Takanda Tata Sewa Tapa Tawa, the Chenta Tawa, the Nilibura. Tata Tapa Tawa, Chinta Tawas, Nilibua, Tata Sewa. Takanda in GT Council Date, Tiny Yobi Date Pa, Nisiche, Jita Sui Date, Maso Datela, Gashagi Data, Tiny Yobi Dani Yorwa, Gashagi Data, Tiny Yobi Da, Tiny Yobi Dani Yorwa, or Niwa Suza, that and the answer in Jita Council Date, Tiny Yobi Datila Samata, Jita Sui Date, Tiny Yobi Date, Tapatawa. Tapa Marua, Tani Yabidati, Tapa Marua, Ye Tapatawa. That Tani Yabidati,
타니도 유베다디 다바 말이
Tapa Marua, Ye Kansa Tapa Marua. Then Jita Sui Da, Tani Yabidati, Vasanota, then Jita Sui Dati, Ye Tapa, Tapatawa, Ruatapatawa. Then Jita Sui Dati, Simalmani Sajua Meba, Kentatawa. Simalmani Sajua Mesna, that Chimarma. Kawachiwa Langina Kanda Dadama Junior Dogurwa. Diku, any Mevatawa, Shimalamani Tajawa Mevatawa, Chentarwa. Chenta Sewachila Kanda de Yovachila Mevatawa, the Chentarwa. Yonkijila Mevatani Rua. Tanta Sewa Mebachila Yopatani. Tantarwa. Mebachila Yotamasu Dondo de la Lota, Lota Dondo, the Kundig Lotas Nia, Lota Shielding Maso. Dondo Lotas and Shielding Kundig Dondo Lota Chida. Kanda Dondo Lotachita, Kundeki Dondo Lotani, Umati Shimba. We did a cheaper at that. Tata Sewa and Jita Suki Dati, Tapatawa, Chepatawa.
So the view holding to an extremes. So involves there are two views. One is the view of permanent, another one is view of nihilism. So when we talk about this view of permanent, so basically holding something that do not exist as existent. So holding something that do not exist as existent. And the view of nihilism is regarding something existent as non-existent, something that exists as non-existent. So this is the same as the wrong views that we previously mentioned. There are two types of wrong view. One is wrong views that that is denial. Yeah, wrong views that is denial, and the second type is wrong views that is superimpositions. So the view of permanent is the view of the wrong views that is superimpositions, and the view of nihilism. The view of nihilism is the wrong view that is a denial.
아빠다와 진다다와 하다들 니니고도 로아 따빠다와 세와데 가서 에 미다발라 따빠다와 다 너니 간사디 미다바 임발라 지다세 미다바 임발라 코 미다바 미 따빠다사디 데 땅타로와 돈도 차로리 다 너니 코 로아 여바질라 메바다오디 디 첸타실로 로아 제바다로아 제바다와 뭐 디스가 다 다다들라 당타의 제다 제바다와 리니요레세 맞아 강사대배 제와 나만인데 원데니 심마바니 사지 상지지 kumba 마토바데 진조야더와 진조요와 어다데 심만니 상자와 메바 조와 메바다이 디 제다스 디 자우도와 단다들와.
Yeah, so this view of permanent and view of nihilism. So regarding the first one, view of permanent, we regard something impermanent as permanent. We regard something impermanent as permanent. For example, person is impermanent, and that is the fact that person is impermanent. So, however, we regard the person as permanent. So this becomes the view of permanent, or it becomes the wrong view that superimpose. And if we and the second type is the view of nihilism. So we regard something existence as non-existence. Like for example, until we achieve, how say one, how say the yeah, 공다기 실라. 근데 상기기 고방 디 균조와 디 요레스 디 대한게 송로나 체다디.
나서 강사 간지나 체가만인데 ndene pe shimani te kanda sanji kumpa mato bada rimba gi to chiwana ndo grwa this ndo yore da tindi ha chenda sewa na te shimal ma tanda nga zu shi tsana shima ma tse shimal ma chiwali gi mare sine te kanda cheda terwa chiwali ro yo mare kanda chiwala yo mare se di chenda ro chenda ni sanjawa me batawa ste tenda derwa.
That's all. Yeah, so regarding the view of nihilism, so we're regarding something existence as non-existence. So for example, one will continue to take rebirth until one achieves the state of enlightenment, right? So, and however, if we regard that, or there is no future rebirths, there is no future lives, then this is the example for view of nihilism, or the view that, the wrong view that denigrates.
다들 대저 따와 총지스 데려와 요와 따와 총지스 데와다 다 이따다 타다 로다 송보데 강루다 대다 강났다이 이 따와 비 풍보라미네 다 초던지 비히로 너무 예스 데로도와.
So the next one is the view holding a bad view to be best. So it's an afflicted intelligence that observes any of these three: the view of the transitory collection, the view of holding to an extreme or a wrong view, and the aggregates of the person holding the view based on which the view arises and holds that view to be best. So it depends on these three, and then I hold that view to be best.
따와 총지스 데와다 간다 따와 로바지 초던지 데로와 다 이따다 타다 로다 수도 따와 초도 봐 말와 따와 신주로도 따와로와 신주로도 따와 들어와 뭐 따와 총지 말에 따와 초도 집어서와네 뭐서 똥만지 따와 또 비셔러 돈이 또 비셔러 따와 때 따와 초 집어 근데 따와 딜라 때네 때 타바 던지지 고마 더 두고로와 왔다 따와 초 많이 버지랑 가서 따와 초든지 마세 디시로도와.
Yeah, so the view of the transitory collection, the view holding to an extreme or a wrong view, is not supposed to be whole, to be best, or hold to be an extreme. So because they are wrong views. So what is supposed to be whole as supreme is the wisdom realizing emptiness. So that view is supposed to be whole as the best, as it oppose these wrong views.
아이티 이제서 트린다 뒤 총지에 따와 디들어와 트린다 뒤 총지에 네 쳐려와
두슈데이나 건다.
트린다 뒤 총지에 지와.
That's right. The next one is the view holding ethics and aesthetic practices to be best.
That you can't rangi long like chat point to say, Digi Loa, Roa, long like chat point to say. That one so far, it's quite the one of Shiva in a roa, quite the one of Shiva in a. That can't do shoes what the Chitang Jabala Logora, Jabal Logore, and the Shiroba to Kashigi, don't say song Balapan Chung, Men and Chung, Fin and Chung, Yang and Chumbaina. 타바토그레 에세 데베 쓰린 데베 쓰린데 초도 줘바레 에세 던딜 로에 로아 다 쓰리도 존재 던딜 로에 다 담보도 성 예스 바지 로아.
So the view holding ethics and ascetic practices to be best, like for example, ascetic practices or ascetic practices refers to conduct or behavior. So they are outsiders or non-Buddhists, and then they regard jumping over the trident, jump into fire, or jump off the cliff. They're regarding this conduct or these actions to be supreme, and by doing so they will achieve liberations. So non-Buddhists, they have such regards.
데 로군도 야데 데 존데 깜바 야치디 인데 다 니마 칼라 파데 따이 따와타비 쓰드 로군도 땡아주데 저한테 통송아 깜바 야치로아 인데 깜바 야치기 인데 데 니마 칼레 파데 따와타바 데 디따도 베 릴라 타와슈바 리제버 nga mama so tindi debaina ta kanda pishu tindi debaina ta tsini ta du cho zing ba ro wo tindi pe tindi sha du wa.
So besides that, they are non-Buddhist practitioners. They also regarding standing, the conduct of standing on one leg and looking at the sun. They also regard that conduct as supreme. And similarly, there are others non-Buddhist conduct. For example, all the time they stay naked, or all the times they stay silent. Then they also regard that conduct as supreme.
사실은 막 가지기 그 년례지 풍보라 미네 다 디파탄도가 년물에 돈으로 그런 포알에 돈으로 그래서네 다 든디집에 뜻이 초던 지부도 와 년례지 풍보라 미바데 다도지 조세데 시부도 와 오데 다 든디 간다 뜻이 초던 지 만진게 든디지 차지로 와.
Yeah, so and they are also Buddhist, non-Buddhist practitioners. They're regarding observations on appropriated aggregates as the cause of pure liberations. So they are also non-Buddhist practitioners that regarding the conduct of observing the appropriated aggregates as the cause of pure liberations.
맞아데 다소도 지워이나 간다 ngene jendeji tindi ngeshi yon hirowa jiwa ngamabe tindi jiwa kawalang do tindi ngeshi tan hirowa tindi ngeshi ingor tindi lamamborwa wa ngazungma shizare da tindi ngeshi je rangi jiwa ngamade kawachi ndo tabana tsengama chida phagi tushunziba chida phagi tindi gi tushunziba jebanthong de tushu de tanda ngaso jiwa ngamade migi jiwa ngambaina 오다 nga 밀리 제바데 간다 생아마 치다 파기 뜻인지바 디기 제바데 렌도사 뜻인디 치파기 뜻이데 초도 좀 만진도 그러와 데스토토 게이자와 디기 비 밀라 제바다 하고요 말와 게이자와 디기 밀라 제바다 하고요 마 오 딘디 손자 나 딘디기 뜻인지네 게들아 간다 다 지리다 디기 초도 좀 만진게 오 딘디지 베샤는 시부도와.
So another example is they are ordinary beings, or even God beings, so who has clairvoyance of remembering their past lives. So when they remember their past lives, then they observe that their conduct is in accordance with the conduct of a dog or a pig. So then in this life, now they are born as a human. Then they think that, my this rebirth as a human depends on the cause, depends on my past conduct of acting like a dog or pig. Then that's why I reborn as a human being. So then they regard that conduct in accordance with dog or pig as supreme. So this is another example as well. So however, they do not know that being the cause for one to be born as a human being, the cause is a virtuous cause.
Jiwa pe sochi gashi jiwa ngashi pe ngishi je rangi jiwa ngama la pe ngishi je taba na ta jiwa ngashi ni sonsa jiwa ngama ni sonsa tali tongke yorwa
Bona
ngama
gewa
ni
ngama,
o
gewa
jiwa
ngama
ngama
ni.
o jiwa ngama de shima jiwa ngama ji da ya shima ji ni za tongke
Mm,
ta ni za tongne somba shiba ma tongke ta somba shiba ma tongdi de ka ma tongdi ta jiwa pe somba shiba la ta ji ta ngani ta ne jiwa ngashi mindu sa tendin zinge bishun zinge indwa
mm,
워 지와 나마다 심마다 니자마도 야사 말에 나 지와 somba shiba 텐디 마 야사 말에 나 민두사 콘 동고 말와 그
mm.
만토디 때 민두사 텐디 투슌지니 게지
Tu de
어 텐디 투슌지니 근도와
可是你给我牙齿嘛，你嘛多的童年的而
어
已了。
내 민두사 와그 동고 말와
嗯
그런 게 동고 마 만토디 다 나마다 치마 니자마도 만토 나 지와 치마 somba shiba 나와 텐디 마 만토디 때 민두사 텐디 당자니 텐디 투슌지니 게지
嗯嗯。Yeah. So, and they are also beings with clairvoyance of remembering not only their past lives, their immediate past lives. They also they can foresee their future lives as well. The immediate, how's it, the next rebirth. So they can only see two births. One is immediate past lives. One is next rebirth. So, due to their limitance, they can only see these two rebirths, and then they think that, oh, there is no third, there's no lives after next rebirth, and there is no life after next rebirth and next rebirth. So they do not believe the existence of third rebirth, fourth rebirth after the next rebirth. So that is also an example of holding that, the views to be best, or that conduct as best.
다 텐디 지로와 다 텐디 지 마도 로다 마 쉐로와 다 로다 쉐니
That's all. And next one is a wrong view.
다 로다 데 생아시다 렌데서 메지 관데 바다 왕슈다 조서 준도이 로이 주 이제 비다 돈도 지시로 명문 진행시다 또 지사고도와
So next one is a wrong view, is an afflicted intelligence that makes denial, like saying that past and future lives, actions and their effects and the like do not exist, or that superimposes the apprehensions of Ishvara, a fundamental nature and the like, as the cause of sentient beings.
다가서 로다 녜스나데 파 도도 녜싱우데 다 간다 요발라 메바타와 메발라 요바타와 임발라 마이바타와 마이발라 임바타와 생다 로다 디시나로 다 디노고다 저라 로아 디시나로 디노고리 담보 디치미에서 다 딩고마 치유차로 가서
Mm. So when we talk about wrong views, there are four types of wrong views. One is the wrong views that regarding something, regarding the existence as non-existence. And the second one is wrong views that regards non-existent as existence. And the third one is wrong views regarding something being, it's regarding
메발라
Pure as
yin
impure.
and mean yin, right? That's all. Yeah. So yeah. So this is a wrong view that regards something being, being kasati
Pure.
is, yeah, not the pure or impure. So
Happiness as
yin, right?
suffering.
Yeah. So
임발라
is
마이바
uh
임발라 마이바
mm,
임발라 마이바 마이발라 임바타와
yeah. So is being something as not being something. So if we literally translate it, then it will become regarding something it is as is not, and regarding something is not as it is. So this is literally translated. So regarding the third type is the wrong views that regards something being being something as not being something. And the last one is wrong views that regard something that is not being something as being something. Yeah.
앞에 샤바는 단단 가서 지나 로다 시오디 지나 가서 로다 시고데 다 시고디는 뒤로 지나 뒤찬으로 와 여발라 매발라 여바 임발라 마이발라 임바 다 가서 배 대첨보지 간을 하고 그랬으나 소지 군초 매봤다 대 매봤다 왔다 로다 두시로 와 군초 달랜데 매봤다 왔다 소 로다 배 무슨 매게 만냐와라 지야기 로다 두시디로 와 이나 로다 배 니바 지주 마본다 뭐다 여러 와 ndamne ta kuncho meba tawa lende meba tawa rowa tisur khanda ta kunde glota rowa kunde glota mato lota de la dondo lota da kunde glota ni wa ni shi wo rowa ta kuncho da lende meba tawa da kunde glota shi.
So when we talk about wrong views just now, we also talk about wrong views that denigrates or denies, and wrong views that superimposes. So there are many types of wrong views, and the worst wrong view is seeing karma and its effects as non-existence, and seeing three jewels as non-existence. So this is the worst type of wrong views because it will bring forth the result of suffering. So this is the first type of wrong views that denies or denigrates.
다 디지로와 당가서 로다를 디지테 간다 다 참마마 제르마 신주카마 디제와시고와 다 다다데 간다 전타 공부 주모공한테 시비 다 영웅인지리에서 엄마 단지로 다 어디 시그레에서 디송도와 다다데 가서 영웅 성에서 와다 제다 전타 공부 참마가 주모공한테 시비 다 인지 지바레스와
Yeah. So these are the mental afflictions as identified from the perspectives that is common to both the higher and lower tenet systems. So, yeah, so before I proceed to the stages by which the mental afflictions arise, so do you have any questions regarding what I have said just now? What I've said.
Sheila, Vicpin have one question.
Yeah.
It is most text said that the view of transitory collection is the worst of all wrong views. The five.
Yeah. So the view of the you say view of the transitory collection.
Is the worst because it's the root of samsara. Geshe-la said just now, the worst wrong view is the denial of law of cause and effect. Maybe just want to clarify.
So Geshe-la, any the jita tang the lota de ni yorwa. Any the tangin the jita the shibikavla, the shikavla, any the jita sete, any the koagi zawaris, the shikaimba. Any the young lota de shikavla, any the young the kaza, the lende penachana de lende and kunjo de mebatawa de, any the young lota de tushuris.
당가서 로다데 배원 배 옛날에 마치야 성게 쪼지 로다데 가서 뭐만 쉬인 봐. 가서 매게 라카시 간다 산데 중요시로 고네 베게 든디 냠바 샤네게 든디야 야 이야 찌르디 코 타바 토송사베 주림보지 띵엔질라 냠바샤 데 간자질라 코란세 냠바샤가 니바데 마 존로데 데 간다 마 미게 마 올라 마치엔도와 통 지와 통을 간다로와 데니 마 통디 데코 타바 통모도 타바 요사모도 우테 로다 제르 데 로다 진리 로다 데왕 때 미게 냐와라 찌르고 레세고 마도 지다 로다 세와다 네바 차침보 휴침보제레 싸와 마리바 세와다 가서 데 지다 가서 강가베 녀무다 에 샤와 마rum바 간디지나 싸와 시자라보다 마리발 투드레세고 마리바 세와다 마리미지다로와 딜라 투드레세 데 로다 세와다 가서 렌데 메바타와다 군조 메바타와 다도 쪽베 레 두자 시고 사는 거로와 레 두자 사는 거 레세고와 로다 세와디 Đó mà đó. Cái đó. Hello, cái đó.
Ken, are you okay?
I think
is
Ken's
actually sick.
connection maybe interrupted.
Yes.
Let me check with him.
Cái đó phải chị.
We can hear you, Gisela, but we can't hear Ken. Yeah.
Ken is
Cái đó mà
disconnected.
internet.
Yeah, internet, Gisela.
India better.
India
internet.
better. India better. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Is Ken still connected or off?
Yeah, Gisela, just wait for a while. Ken said he will reconnect. Just we wait for a while.
Okay.
Good group now.
Oh, yes. He's coming.
Hello, Gisela, 거기 돼, Gisela.
Oh, that go to.
공다. 이렇게 pass 我那个earphone.
Cái là carte.
The Wi-Fi window 공다. Disconnect. Sorry, because my Wi-Fi some problem there. I disconnected. Sorry, So, can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, what Gisela says just now. So, why do we say that wrong views regarding karma or three jewels as non-existence is the worst? Is because it will bring forth the result of being born in hell. Like for example, there are some gods beings. They enjoy the bliss from meditations. Then after they exhaust their karma to enjoy the bliss of meditations. Then when they're about to fall from that realms, then they can foresee their future rebirths, right? Then they are going to be born in hell realms. Then there is no liberations, because they previously, when they enjoy the bliss of meditations, and they regard it as liberations. So however, when their karma exhausted, and then they see that they are going to fall from that realms and going to be born in hell, then they have generate this wrong view regarding that there is no liberations. So because of this wrong view, then they will fall in it will bring forth the result of being born in hell. So this is why we say that wrong view regarding three jewels or karmic cause and effect as non-existence is the worst. And view of the transitory collection is the root of samsara. So why do we say that? Is because all sorts of improper conduct this root, which is the root of ignorance.
Lota sewa de ngaso post koro kanda ya soso ki pe jingyan bawang ki pe kunjo la meba tawa da lende meba tawa dendi ya lota dendi jing ki yongro wa ta dendi lota dendi leba ina de meba chimbo re sewa ngaso kunjo meba tawa da lende meba tana lota de meba chimbo shujire de nipa de wang ma nyawa la ma chia ki le du cha sang re sewa wa
đi chỉ ta nó đi mà bằng bà tuổi nó đi yếu rồi.
ya yo parwa ko
ngon được yếu rồi.
dan jita di yo pare
chỉ ta yếu rồi. Yeah. So view of the transitory collections is the root of all afflictions. View of the transitory collection is the root of all afflictions. So until you abandon this view of the transitory collections, it exists. So compared to wrong view, so this wrong view do not exist, do not manifest all the time. It only manifests once. It only manifests once a while. So, and even though it only manifests for a short while, but it is very powerful that it is able to bring forth the result of being born in hell realms.
Lota sewa de ngaso su jiwo lo lota menge ke bangbo yo wa su jiwo koro jula lota majing ke yongro wa jita sewa de ngaso ta ma pong ji pa de yo da ji ta su jula ro wa ida pang ma de ba na lota sewa de ngaso tos le gro wa
That's all. So like ordinary beings, so they are ordinary beings. They are ordinary beings who do not generate wrong views. So, however, compared to view of the transitory collections, until it is abandoned, it exists. Yeah, so the view of the transitory collection is the root of all afflictions.
Sorry, Ken. This is question in the text page 169, the first paragraph. Yeah, right at the top. It says the view holding ethics and ascetic practices to be best. Do you see it? Yeah. It's an afflicted intelligence that observes the ethics of giving up immorality. Is that right? Ethics of giving up immorality. Isn't that good? Ethics, but it's the afflicted intelligence, yeah?
You have to read the whole sentence until the end. Giving up immorality as to release them from cycle existence. Just doing that.
Yeah. So Gisela. Gisela. Ini di tangi di nyomong chu yora. Ini di chu tim tang tu shu cho zini. Chu zini ini di che chu bong wei chu tim tang cha chi tang chu tang lu nga yi juba nye ba che wei tu shu di yora Gisela. Che chu bong wei chu tim se di ya bu ma re wei Gisela. Che chu ro.
Rang longo la cha chu bong chu di se.
Rang longo la se di.
다 간들로 다 이제 랑그 롱어라 차스 봉 스트레스 디자고래 다 간다 랑그 롱어라 차스 봉 스팅 다 간다 스팅 초 많이 받지라 스팅 초 에디 상당히 보다 스팅 초 많이 받지라
수팀 초 많이 봐 애니 다다 치추 봉외 수팀 세데 애니 디 야보 요로 와
차스 봉 스트레스 랑그 롱어라 차스 봉 스트레스 자고래래
랑이 롱어라 차스 봉외 수팀
디자
Rangin Lomo from one perspectives. Ale. So it says that observes the ethics of giving up more immorality, right? So giving up immorality from one's perspectives. So from one perspective, it observes the ethics of giving up immorality. So it's from your own perspective.
Don't understand.
So the long la said the any so is somebody or wise la.
다 랑기 상로라.
랑기 samlola any day
랑기 상로라 데 인디 차스 포인트 스트링스나. 제가 가서 Tsongkhapa sewa da pongwa dia borwa jila Tsongkhapa pongwa dia borwa.
Last one. Yeah, so in general, when we say the ethics of giving up morality, in general is good, is a good thing. However, why here it says that the ethics of observes the ethics of giving up immorality is view holding ethics and ascetic practices to be best is a bad thing. Why? Because in your own view, you think that you are giving up immorality. You're observing the ethics of giving up immorality. Yeah, so this is what it means by in your own view, you think that you're observing ethics of giving up immorality.
Can I say something else?
Yes.
I think when you read through this paragraph, they say that which the view arises and views them as sufficient for purifying bad actions. So actually, this part is insufficient. Indirectly, it's insufficient. This is a wrong view, isn't it?
Insufficient. You mean it's insufficient for purifying bad actions?
That they see liberating them from the mental afflictions and releasing one from psychic existence. It means that holding this view, it is insufficient. In saying that, it means this is a wrong view, that this is insufficient. Does it mean that?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
You must read the whole paragraph.
Yeah. So, so if I'm not wrong, so in Tibetan there is no such words as sufficient for purifying bad actions. Yeah. So however in English there is how to say, yeah, sufficient or nieba jimba le tawe nieba jimba. Yeah, see it as sufficient. Yeah, you can. Yeah,
it's written as sufficient.
Okay, so Gisela. Gisela, any di kasa yang di wola yang tende shi doa any di batapa dan nyomong le dua dan kuah le nieba jimba tawe shirap nyomong jenos. Any di kasa any di inji gitsi la wo ina any di batapa choba. Tu shu de la de june any di ba taba choba res. Any di kasa. So the chesu de pong with team de la chewa na any de dipata de chudu mi cheba tendina. Pumbo de mare. Akala tene, Teta Jung, Pumbo, Pumbo la mine, dipataba dan, Yomon le drewa. Tang koa leng yeba jimba tawe shirap nyumong jenos de tsutin na dushu chozin yero aishla.
De kares na tri ti chozi sewa de shiro ba kachi lo de sudo pe sachi ni le ji phumbo la mi no de pe dipa thando de la mi no de dipa thando gore koa le thondo gore nyum pando gore ese de chodo chubare ese tsutin chodo chubare ese de ta gorwa.
Yene di pumbo la miwa ina di dipa tagi mare nyomo le tagi maro.
Di tagu mara pumbo la mine dipa ga sa ta ma so tapa pumbo la mine ko dipa das na ti le la ucharu mi di.
Yeah. So I say the chongwe pumbo la mine. So I say the yeah, as well as aggregates. Yeah. So here it says So it says observing the aggregates, and then observing the aggregates, then one's negativities will be purified, then one will be liberated from afflictions, then one will be liberated from samsara. So however, by observing the aggregates, one will not purify one's negativity. It will not purify one's negativities. Don't mention that it will liberate you from afflictions and samsara. So as the text says, as well as the aggregates through which the view arises, and view them as sufficient for purifying bad actions. So you can also understand it as view them view them as and view them as being able to purify bad actions. Yeah, view them as being able to purify bad actions, liberating from the mental afflictions, and releasing one from cycle existence. However, by observing the aggregates, one will not purify one's bad actions. Don't mention liberating from the afflictions and releasing one from cycle existence. This is the view held by a non-Buddhist.
Geshe-la, I have a question. According to the wrong view, the definition of wrong view is someone, it's also equivalent to what they say is heresy. Heresy meaning someone who doesn't believe in the Four Noble Truths, does not believe in the three residuals, does not believe in karma, does not believe in cause and effect. By so saying that anyone who does not believe in these things is committing a wrong view, then are we then labeling any non-Buddhist as a heretic?
Yeah. So heretic, can I say as
someone who doesn't believe in these things? I mean, so for example, a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu who doesn't believe in this, in the Buddha, does not believe in the three vested jewels, does not believe in the Four Noble Truths, then they are just labeled as heretics according to this definition, correct? Is it?
Also, Geshe-la, lota di shi begal la. Lota di shi begal la. Ini di denshi di 一切嘛切巴当，di konjushun la ini di 一切嘛切巴当，连接来di 一切嘛切巴ina. De lota 经验罗Geshe-la.
一切嘛切巴当logo mare, lende me patawa, lende me mare sene, ta chilen zine ke, kunjo yo mare sen zine ke, tendi chumba ina ta lota roa.
De me bat, konju de 一切切gi yo maro. Denpa shi di 一切切gi yo mare. Konju sum de yang 一切切gi yo mare.
Ta de kanda lota re, misinda jita na lota re ko, chu ki nena na mali nenda kanda yo mare sewa de ko lota roa.
Konju de me bat tawa ina de lota roa Geshe-la.
Lota roa.
Dende ina ini de nangba mayen ba pena cha shena de Yeshu ba dabo ina. Ini konju sum la de yo ba de kaza me ba de tagi yo roa.
kunjo me batana lota roa. Kunjo sanji kunjo yo mare sanji yo mare se temba sanji chonde de yo mare se me batazne te ko lota roa. Ngoe se ke shegor sanji chonde de ngoe ne si yo roa. Sanji simba ngoe ne si yo ta sanji kunjo temba shi te ba yo mare se la ba ina te lota nuwa ko tenda.
That's all. Dende ina konju de yang lota jingyan cha gi roa.
Re lota re.
That's all. Yeah. So yeah, if you as you mentioned just now, wrong views, and then those heretics is those who do not believe in Four Noble Truths, three jewels, and cause and effect, and they see it as non-existent. For example, if a Christians see Four Noble Truths as non-existent, three jewels as non-existent, cause and effect as non-existent, then they are the holder of the wrong views. And if you say that the wrong view holders of the wrong views are heretics, then yes, they are holders of the wrong view and they are heretics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can Geshe-la give example of the third and the fourth type of wrong view? Just now, Ken is saying, view something as being something, and then it's not being something. It's something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Geshe-la, tangi de lota any di shi sung yo wa. Sung yin ba any di kaza yu me yu dang yin min dang min yin ni ra Geshe-la. Any di yin ba min ba jin ba dang min ba yin ba jin ba any di pe ji sung ro na. Jeje la pe sung ro na.
Ta kunjo yo ba la me ba ta wa.
Yo ba me ba di min ba je any di
kunjo yo ba la me ba ta wa.
That's all.
Yo ba la me ba ta. Ta kanda kunjo ma yin ba chi la kunjo yin ba ta wa. Kunjo ma yin ba ta pe kanda de inge de ko ba bona wala sa ba chi nga se pe kunjo se kele ko ma ro. Ta til ma pe ma ja ba chi. Ta kunjo ma yin ba pe na nga so ba na da bo chi la kanda kunjo le lo ma ro. Kunjo ma yin ba chi la kunjo yin se ta de la so ta de ba ina. De lo ta ro. 아나도 뭐 군조 많이 받지라 군조 인스 따데 바이나 델라페 차피 든지 제바이나 데 ndigo 말아 군조 많이 받 군조 임받다와 로아 다 군조 임받라 많이 받다와 뜻된 바시도 봐 군조 레데 군조 많이 있으네 따데 데야 군조 임받라 많이 받다와 들어와
군조 임바 뜬바차잖아
땡바데 군조 레 군조 임받라 많이 있으네 따데네 데 임받라 많이 받다와 로아
That's all. Yeah, so for the third and fourth type of wrong view that I mentioned just now, so regarding it is as is not, and regarding is not as it is. So the example for the third one is regarding it is as is not. For example, a cow is not 3 jewels. A cow is not a jewel. So the jewel refers to the 3 jewels. Yeah. So a cow is not a jewel. So and you regard a cow as jewel, and you make supplication prayer to that cow. So this is improper, right? So and this is a wrong view. So you having the wrong view regarding something is not as it is. So regard a cow which is not a 3 jewels as a 3 jewels, and you make supplications to it. So this is the wrong view. And the fourth type is you regarding something it is as is not. For example, our teacher, so Buddha Shakyamuni, is a jewel. So the jewel refer to 3 jewels. So teacher is a jewel, and you regard it as not being a jewel. So this is the fourth type of wrong view. Yin mean tang mean yin, wrong. Sorry, I balik already. So not a 3 jewels, and you regard it. You regarding something not a 3. You regarding something is not a 3 jewels as being a 3 jewels. For example, cow, and you regarding something is a 3 jewels as not being a 3 jewels. For example, teacher, the Buddha Shakyamuni, is a 3 jewels, but you do not regard it as a 3 jewels, then that is a wrong view. Sorry.
Ken, one quick last question, yes, no answer. The ignorance in this ignorance, maripa. So is this the same ignorance which is the first limb of the 12 link of dependent rising?
So kisala maripa de yorwa. The maripa de any tinte yela juni ye maripa de chipa chikan ina.
Tinte yela juni ye maripa de chidanga so mege ma koa jiwa lenji maripa kuno de la shagurwa.
Na koala.
Oh, de kona ni la mombe maripa ji de la shagurwa. Tinte yela juni ye maripa la.
Koala mombe.
Oh, koala la mila. De kona ni la mombe maripa.
Gonda yange sunro na.
Tinte yela juni ye maripa de kada de la shagurwa. Kunda la shagurwa. Kunda. Oh, chida kunda rwa. Kunda re. Kanda maripa titi cheba yore. Tinte yela juni ye maripa se wada. Chigi chane maripa se del cheba yore.
Also, tinte insa ini di tanda shebe maripa se.
Tanda chidang shebo, chidang ti chane shebo.
Ti chane shebo.
Ti chane shebo, ti chane.
Naso. Ini di tanga ini di tinte yela juni ki maripa de ini di cheba yore.
Ye cheba yore chidang.
Oh, de chipa chikan marwa isla.
Chipa chikan la lo jama ta.
Naso. Yeah.
So tanda kongo ke chidang ton shigu yore lang doa.
Naso. Yeah. So
the maripa la ngam tuti manda mambo yore lende la mo maripa. De khona na mo maripa se wada mambo da mo da yore.
Naso. Yeah. So the ignorance here is not the same as the ignorance in the 12 things of dependent arisings. So the ignorance here in this context is a general ignorance, and there are many types of ignorance. So it's not the same as the ignorance in the 12 things of dependent arising.
So
La saint kazade samima. Samima la isla.
Oh, jema la.
Oh, that's so. Yeah. So regarding this ignorance, then I will talk about it in next class.
他等于点小语是吧？他第四性差项。
Oh, yeah. So I will stop here.
那我这等于给早晚的了点呢，这刚才7点8的多对吧？那公司讲个全部桥堂，大家那么什么人不这个这点的进去当吧？上学可能是用点吧，或者的现在把这个小工的结果等我去当，这等的让领导了呗，那样的忙住了是吧？你就往前面把了是吧？忙不赢了的，这长话你都多呀，人家觉得都上当就是吧？往前。
Oh, so yeah, so we do dedication. We dedicate the roots of virtue accumulated, especially through these Dharma discussions, and we dedicate this root of virtue as for the Buddha's teachings and for all sentient beings in general. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue for upholders of Buddha's teachings, represented by His Holiness Lama and one's guru, Kirsi Lama Rinpoche. So may they live eons long, excellent health, and their enlightened activities spread to all 10 directions. We also dedicate these roots of virtue for the world peace, and may the world be free of disaster, and may this pandemic be ceased immediately.
大概今年早比给我的电堂着我跟老公开大七八几在路上走，对面宁波领导这些给我讲究新疆人保健嘛些把那解决七八娘把没把呀空年空多给我是领导人保健嘛些把那解决七八娘把没把呀空年空多给我说东年到人保。马些把那解决七八娘把没把呀空年空多陪我说江边把也只当天把那空多上把地下的给的地大空间接着给我的他当接了都我土生强健讲给家业点子就被也跟着到往的小生会员里面大数对些天到夏天就东年年节生动就为了期间上的刚接点这个强拿屏幕点这讲说完的时间的听着叫你点看灯偏点马里把看两句上边也能各种什么点这讲是说完的时间的连着就看了这一个也心肝的偏大地方嘛邻居的今天是吧点这讲是下边新的报道点就一我要